let me ask you guys a question. What is a journalist? We all have a perception of what a journalist is, of course, right? Maybe they wear a tie, or perhaps they work for the New York Times. But I think the definition of a journalist is particularly relevant in light of recent events in San Francisco. Now, what happened in San Francisco? Well, the San Francisco police, in their infinite wisdom, kicked down the door of a man because he had some information they wanted. Some information that had been leaked to him that the city and the mayor of San Francisco didn't think he should have. Didn't think the public should know about. So they got a warrant, kicked down his door, and grabbed his, technology. He grabbed his phone, his computer, to try to figure out how he got this leaked document. Brian Carmody is his name, and he is a freelance videographer. At least that's how he's referenced in the San Francisco Chronicle. Now, the court that granted the warrant, and the police, and the mayor's office have argued and will argue that he is not a journalist. He's just a citizen. And that he should not have had these classified leaked documents regarding the death of a public defense attorney that worked for the city of San Francisco. But he says part of his job as a freelance videographer involves packaging stories together and selling them to media outlets, like the San Francisco Chronicle or the New York Times or whomever it may be. And this is where we get to the crux of the matter of what exactly is a journalist. Because there is no formal infrastructure for a journalist the way there is for lawyers, professors, doctors. Now, sure, you can go to school for journalism, just as you can go to school for medicine or to be a lawyer. But being a journalist is not conditioned on having a degree in journalism, whereas you need a law degree or you need to go to medical school to be a doctor or a lawyer. And so, in reality, it's really one of the most unregulated, if not the most unregulated industry in the United States. Media, journalism, is the last career industry in which anyone really, if they're smart and network and good at it, can become a journalist, can call themselves a journalist, and be viewed in society as a journalist. But because of this, you also find, as you move throughout the media circles, that once people are journalists, they become very protective of that label. And so the kind of established journalists find ways of guarding the name of a journalist. They go work for large media institutions that provide them power and backing and media passes and lawyers and places to publish, like the New York Times, the Washington Post. Or they become verified on Twitter and use their blue checkmark to elevate themselves above the, discourse of the plebeians. All these subtle social cues indicate that this is a real journalist versus no, this is not a real journalist. This is just somebody blogging, publishing information. But in reality, I would argue to you that anybody can be a journalist, regardless of being verified on Twitter or not, or working for the New York Times or not. If you have a blog where you're covering your local stories in a unique way that's providing information, you're doing the job as a journalist. And you are fully within your right to call yourself a journalist. And so this is where we get into the gray area of the profession of what is a journalist. Because journalism and journalists are afforded certain rights within the United States. They're generally protected from giving up their sources, although they can be found in contempt of court and be jailed for a little bit. But for the most part, the government or any sort of authority body cannot compel a journalist to give up their sources or to give up their information. But first we have to define what a journalist is. So I put to you, the viewers, what do you guys think a journalist is? Do you think anybody can be a journalist? Do you think you have to be employed, or can you be a freelance journalist? Merely, filming some B-rolls of San Francisco, collecting information, and selling it to the San Francisco Chronicle. Are you a freelance journalist for the San Francisco Chronicle, or are you just a citizen that happens to come across the wrong information and can get a warrant against you and your door kicked in and your property seized? It's an interesting question. I'll put it to you guys. What do you guys think? If you have any thoughts, leave it down below in the comments. Anyway, that's all for today. If you want to watch another video, you can click around. Thanks as always for watching, guys. Like, subscribe. See you tomorrow. Bye.